President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on the ANC's NEC to be honest about its shortcomings when the leadership delivers its organisational and political report to delegates at next month's elective conference. Ramaphosa told NEC members to prepare to be held accountable by branches for the work that they've done during their terms.
Now, of course, the president himself faced calls to step aside at the party's NEC meeting this weekend, but emerged unscathed after revealing some details of the robbery at his farm. Ramaphosa delivered the closing address at the last ordinary sitting of the NEC.
We will need to report to delegates on the implementation of the mandate that we were given 5 years ago at the 54th National Conference. This report will be greatly enriched by the discussions that we have had here, and our report will reflect that while this NEC has had to confront serious challenges, we can point to several achievements and progress in a number of areas. At the same time, we will need to acknowledge our shortcomings and our failings.
All right, let's make sense of this weekend's meeting. Bring in political analyst Prof Sethulego Matebesi, who joins us via our video link this morning. Prof, as always, great to get your insights. Welcome to the AM report. So many of the papers this morning that are covering this story are reporting around how the president has seemingly been able to brush off these calls for him to step aside because of the Phala Phala farm robbery. So this is a man, by all accounts, who emerges to have won, is it the battle, but not necessarily the war?
Hi, good morning, and good morning to South Africans. For me, it was actually a non-starter, the issue of a step aside for the president. We all know that the president has not been charged. The president's case is not in front of a court of law. But the wounded within the African National Congress wanted to use this opportunity, because I don't think there will be many other opportunities for them to get rid of the president, because I think that is the ultimate dream. So for me, yes, Cyril will come out, and those who support the president will come out emboldened by the stance, the resilience that, of the president and the way how he handled this. I strongly believe that they will go forward and go and strategize how to further protect the president from further reputational damage.
Yeah. What's interesting, of course, is also to track the commentary outside of the ANC. You know, real questions being asked about whether or not the party has any chance of victory in 2024 without a Ramaphosa at the helm. It's really a question about the quality of the potential leaders of the organization and whether or not the ANC should settle for a Ramaphosa, even though he faces these questions around what happened back at his farm in Phala Phala.
Yes, most definitely. If you look at the candidates that are vying for the position of the president, you can name them. All of them are, one way or the other, emboldened in some controversy. So the question is whether President Cyril Ramaphosa is there, whether a Dr. Mtize is there, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma will be there. The problems that are facing the African National Congress will not go away because the ANC is fighting itself. The ANC's priorities today, it's all about positions and not about enhancing and furthering the interest of South Africans. And that is the problem within the African National Congress. There has been, numerous strategies around that, like the so-called renewal. The only thing that most of us is seeing, it is this factional battles within the African National Congress. And it seems as if the renewal process has taken a backseat.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, despite that, part of what the president had to say in his closing remarks is, this call again for renewal and unity within the governing party. Interestingly enough, also calling on the organization to be honest about its track record, at least in the last 5 years. How confident are you of that actually happening, given the kind of year that the ANC has had?
No, we need to be also very sincere. 15 years ago, not even the most experienced commentators or political analysts would have thought that there will be some senior ANC members who have been arrested And that is all because of, yes, the public pronouncement of the president and the drive that he has towards a clean governance, irrespective of how he himself finds himself that the same process that he has embarked on is now starting to bite himself. But at least we had for the very first time a president who has at numerous occasions not only spoken about the issue of corruption and fighting corruption, but we have seen action being taken about what I will call the untouchables within the African National Congress. I mean, we had ministers who have been arrested, former premiers, the Secretary General of the African National Congress, and there are many more cases that still needs to be obviously investigated. But this shows you that there is at least some concerted effort to try and fight corruption in South Africa.
Is that, do you reckon, effort enough to be able to help the ANC gain control in areas where necessarily they haven't been able to do that over the last 5 years? At least if the outcomes of the local government elections are anything to go by, the governing party may very well be in trouble come 2024.
No, definitely not. Remember, with the African National Congress, they will take 30 steps forward, but then takes almost like 1,000 steps backward. And what is taking the African National Congress background is a very unfortunate situation in the current context, because context does matter. And the current context that the African National Congress finds itself, it is a situation where many politicians are fighting for their political careers, and those are the most dangerous people, because for them, their priority is only to advance their interests. It's definitely not enough if you look at service delivery. I mean, I can speak on behalf of for the citizens of Bloemfontein, a so-called metropolitan municipality. You should see a metro municipality that battles to collect refuse on a weekly basis, a municipality where police had to protect officials on a daily basis. These are the kind of things that I strongly believe are affecting the reputation of the African National Congress, this glorious organization that I strongly believe that has been captured by individuals who has narrow interest and not the interest of the same organization at heart and the interest of South Africans at heart.
Professor Sethulego Matebesi, always great getting your insights. Thanks very much indeed for your time. Professor Matebesi is a political analyst. Live to us there from Bloemfontein.